Hey guys, this is Dave Pitcock here in the studio, and I wanted to give you guys some tips today on the training for the month. And this is I kind of wanted to do a video instead of doing an audio because sometimes visually you can really get the point across. And today I had an opportunity to share with on a coaching call with some of the top leaders, and we were talking about how to become a meeting giver. How do you get your business to that next level? And what I mean is this: you can bring 5 or 10 people into this business. And if those 5 or 10 people don't do anything, you have 5 to 10 people in your group. And when you become a meeting giver, those 5 to 10 people, you are taking the bull by the horns. You are taking action. You are the one saying to these people, I'm going to do step number 7. I'm going to help you. And you take those 5 or 10 people, you show their people the plan, and all of a sudden your 5 to 10 people grew to 50 to 100 people in a month. And that's really how we built our whole business. 17 years ago, I remember showing this on the wall in my living room just so I could learn it. And guys, once you've showed the plan once or twice, you've got it. But I want to give you guys some tips today. I kind of want to give you my own steps that I use when I show the plan. I've done it for 16 years, and there's a philosophy behind it, and that's what I want to show you. Now, with that said, I don't want to, here's a good statement. There's no wrong way to show the plan. So however you show the plan is good. In the 8 Steps workbook, which is now available at PMG All Access, you guys can download the whole How to Get Started Fast workbook. But in that workbook, step number 5, guys, is showing the plan. Step number 5 is the action step. Step number 5 is where the rubber meets the road. And there's not a wrong way to show the plan at all. There's PowerPoints, there's DVDs, you can get on conference calls. There's lots and lots of ways to do it. The Ready to Cash In system is ridiculously an amazing way to show hundreds of people what you're doing in a very short amount of time. But when it comes down to just do a meeting, when you're going to a home or a third location or your own home and you want to take charge, you're at the point in your business where you say, you know what, I'm ready to do this. I don't need to, I'm tired of, I don't want to wait for the next person to come and do the meeting. I want to show the plan 3 to 5 times a week. I want to be that person. Guys, this training's for you. And you know what? Not everybody wants to do that, and that's fine. I did not want to do that. For the first 2 months I was in this business, my upline drove down from Nebraska and over from Kansas City every Tuesday and Thursday, and they showed the plan for us. And one day Barb and I just woke up, and Barb just looked at me and she said, you know what? They do the same thing every time. We can do that. And that's really when we made the decision to build our business. And I'll tell you what, it gave us so much freedom because we weren't underneath waiting for someone to show us or help us. We took step 7 on ourselves. We became the meeting givers. And guys, that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. So what I want to show you guys today is just a kind of a thing. I always keep notes when I show the program. Whether I'm in a home, whether I'm in a hotel, it doesn't matter where I'm showing the program. If I'm standing up in front of a group, I love a whiteboard. A whiteboard presentation is my favorite. It didn't used to be, but after I did 2 or 3 of them, it let me be real. It let me be who I am. Let me tell my story and why I'm excited about these things. And that's what I want you guys to get today. Just because I share with you why I think longevity is a big deal, that might not be why you think it is. So you need to make sure and put in each of these areas what's exciting to you, because that's what's real, and that's why after the meeting everybody will sign up and everybody will come up to you and say, my gosh, that was the greatest meeting in the world. It's because you're not reading a script. It's because, the PowerPoint presentation I think is amazing because there are so many parts of the PowerPoint that actually show, other ways to make money. It talks about longevity. It talks about 90 for life and the problem and prescription drugs. It goes through a lot of that. But for me, I like to keep it so real. I want it to be my story. I want to look people in the eye. I want them to feel my passion. And sometimes when I do a PowerPoint, I lose that. And that's why I just like the whiteboard. If you like a PowerPoint, put this stuff in a PowerPoint and go right through it. You can do your whole meeting as a PowerPoint. So there is no wrong way to show this plan. That's for sure. Don't get me wrong. A whiteboard's not the only way. It's just my way. That's just how I do it. If you like a PowerPoint, do it. The PowerPoint can be put on a DVD. Do it. We have this, the meetings that I do all the time, we have one on PMG All Access. It's the webcast. If you like that, use that one. But what I want to share with you guys is a philosophy behind why we show the plan the way we do and give you a few tips on these steps. And I want to roll through them really quick, but that's why I wanted to do a video, because you can go back and look at it and read it. And I'm going to erase this stuff in a minute, but you can always go back and check it out and write it down, make your own notes. When I do a meeting, I have these right beside me. They're either on a podium or they're on a little or on a stand wherever I'm doing the meeting, or I have them sitting on my whiteboard. I just always have them to keep me on track, because I can ramble. I could get so excited about stuff. When I start talking about prescription drugs and the problem, I could stay there an hour. And I have to remind myself, you know, if there's 10, 11, 12 steps here, if I spent 3 minutes on each one, that's about a 40-minute meeting. That's about perfect. I never stay within my range, and I know that. I'm a talker, so I give myself 4 minutes, and I try to shorten some of them down. But that's a really good way to break it down. People may say, well, I get nervous when it comes to showing the plan. You're going to give yourself 3 to 4 minutes of the most power-packed way to show people how you make money in this program, and you're done, and you move on to the next step. Part of the philosophy with showing the plan, guys, is just the same philosophy as ready to cash in. Guess what? We're not going to cure all the curiosity. We want people wanting more information. Well, how's that work? Because if you leave them that way, they want to get in business with you. I know that sounds funny, but if I cure every single thing and I answer every single question and tell them exactly how every single thing works, they immediately think they can make a decision. I want them to be asking questions after the meeting. Well, how do the products work? Which ones do you take? What do you mean sponsor 3? Why is the $4.99 better? After a meeting, when people are answering questions, I go, good meeting. Because sometimes the meeting after the meeting lasts longer than the meeting did, because people are so excited about what they just saw. You guys have that potential. Every single person that watches this, if you've been in this business a week, you can become a meeting giver. All you have to do is watch the webcast a few times. Go watch myself, watch Barb, watch Kurt Wienekamp, watch some of the leaders do a presentation, and kind of mentally watch yourself as they follow this. Because most of the people follow this. They have their own flair, they're their own personality. They might mix it up a little, but I'm saying this philosophy works. My upline put over 200,000 people in his downline in 14 months. And he attributes a lot of it to having a ton of meeting givers. And it was done in a way that when us meeting givers went out and showed the program, everybody signed up. And you could be brand new in the business and plug into this, and everybody was out showing the plan. So if you're more comfortable with the PowerPoint, if you're more comfortable with the DVD, not a problem. But this philosophy, this flow, works really, really good. So I want to get into it a little bit and show you some things of kind of how I touch each one of these. And I encourage you guys, watch this a few times, take some notes, get out a tablet, 1 through 12, write down why you would be excited about these things. Because my story and your story are going to be completely different. But it's still the story, and it's real, and it overcomes objections. And before I get into this also, if you guys don't have the mastery course yet, you should go get it. If you want the mastery course with the thinking cure and all that stuff and the whole package, it's like $197. But if you want just the mastery course, it's $69. And it's really everything I've learned in the last 17 years. But within that mastery course, there's part of this, and there's one whole CD on only telling your story, how to develop your story. And you guys should listen to that. It will really help you with that. And it does it in a way that it helps people overcomes all their questions and objections most of the time when you tell your story right. So with that said, guys, the first thing I want to do, when I go to a presentation or I get ready to do a meeting, the first thing I like to do is I always edify the people that are there. If I'm at a person's home, if I'm a guest in their home, I thank them, I edify them. If we had dinner before, I might make a joke about dinner and what we had and how good it was. If we were laughing about something before the meeting, I'll usually tell it so everybody gets laughing at the meeting. If I had a problem getting to the meeting, I'll talk about it, because I want to set people at ease. I want to set people at ease. And the best way to set people at ease is to talk about yourself, make fun of yourself, something that just happened. Recently I was down in Roswell, New Mexico, and that's kind of the UFO capital of the world. And I got taken around, and wish I got to go to the UFO, museum, and all these cool places. And when the meeting started, that's what I told people I did. And some of the people sitting in the crowd were from Roswell, and they were shaking their head. And I'm like, what, you guys don't go there? And half of them didn't go, half of them did go. Before the meeting ever started, everybody in that room was laughing and having a good time. And the best way to do that is you just talk about yourself. What did you just do? How did you get there? How did you travel there? You know, if I'm with my friend Kurt Viennekamp, I was at his house the other night, and I was in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I did a presentation. And all over his walls in his basement, he has all this Corvette stuff. He loves Corvettes. He loves muscle cars. And we had just gone to eat supper. And I remember before the meeting, for me to set at ease, I said, my gosh, I got in the truck with Kurt, and if you guys look around the room and see all these Corvettes, my fingerprints were still on the door handle of the pickup. Kurt Viennekamp thought he was in his Corvette taking us to supper. And I was like, how many of you have ever drove with Kurt Viennekamp? And everybody's like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. They were laughing. But guess what I did? I set people at ease. So before the meeting ever started, it's fun. You want to feel good and have some fun. And the way to do that is to talk about yourself and how you got there, you know, and just something funny like that. And then what I do is I edify who's there. I thank the person that whose home I'm at. If my upline is in the room, I recognize my upline immediately. If people like that are in the room right before the meeting, I just say, guys, I'm going to share some stuff with you tonight, and whether you have any interest or not is perfectly fine. I think you're going to get really excited. If you're like me, you might not sleep tonight, but I want to point out a couple people because after the meeting, they can really help answer questions. You know, and maybe Kurt Viennekamp was in the room, or Scott Fardulis was in the room, or Tom Chenault was in the room, or Dave Pitcock was in the room, or you know, one of my upline is in the room. I'm going to point them out. So if your upline's in the room, point them out. And if you're, you know, if I'm at Bob and Autumn Tate's home in Colorado, or I'm at Kevin and Robin Shields' home in Overland Park, you know, when the meeting starts, I'm going to set it at ease, and I'm going to say, hey man, you guys, thanks for opening your house up. This is awesome. That way, you know, you're recognizing the people you're with, makes you feel good, and when you feel good, everybody in the crowd feels good. It goes both ways. So that's really the first thing I like to do. The second thing I like to do is I go right into my story and who I am. Guys, my name's Dave Pitcock. I'm from the middle of Kansas. I got in this business about 17 years ago, and I always start the same way. 17 years ago, I did not wake up and think I was going to get in a network marketing company. And most of the people in the room are like, yeah, no kidding, me neither. And with that said, guys, I encourage you guys, get to a meeting or watch the live webcast that's at PMG All Access. Go to the site, scroll down, and there's a video of a home meeting. Watch it and study it, because I'm not going to go through everything I say, but there's reasons why I say it. You know, my story is powerful. My story says I didn't want to do it, I didn't know how to do it. My story says I didn't have money to do it. My story says I was kind of young and dumb. My story says I probably shouldn't have been successful at this. And when people hear that, their guards drop down. And you all have that story. You all have a story to create. And if you guys will get the mastery course and listen to that audio, it'll tell you how to create your own story by using, you know who, what, when, how, where, and why. You answer those questions in one sentence, and you have 6 sentences, and it's your whole story. And it's very compelling, and it's passionate, and the biggest thing, it's real. People just want to know you're real. You know, a lot of times, right in the beginning, between your story and setting people at ease, people already have judged you. They thought, wow, he's a real guy. You know, as opposed to, what's he trying to sell me? And so I never want to come across as I'm trying to sell you something. I want to set you at ease and laugh about myself and have fun and thank everybody, and here's who I am. And then he goes, I roll right into the dreams and goals, because the first meeting I ever went to, a guy drew a big circle on the board. And that's what I still do that. So I'm going to erase this stuff here, guys, because there's a couple things I want to show you. I'm going through this, and I appreciate you guys' patience. A lot of the trainings we do are audios, but this one seemed better to do visually. Yes, you can watch the webcast, but I wanted to put something together so if you guys really want to go do meetings, you get a few tips on each of these. And honestly, guys, remember too, as you write all these down and you break them down, leave a space between each one, you're really looking at 2 to 3 minutes for each step. You know, maybe setting them at ease takes 1 minute. That gives you 1 more minute for showing the plan. But a perfect meeting is usually 40 to 45 minutes. I usually go 48 to 55. I can't seem to keep it down there because I love to talk. But a good meeting is 40 minutes. Boom, I'm done. Here's the deal. Meeting after the meeting. People are milling around, talking about products. How do I get in? What's the next? When's the next deal? Let's do this. Because the meeting was so short, you left them hanging. You left them begging for more information. And the people that are there at the room, in the room, they're re-sponsored, they're excited. So after the meeting, they're sponsoring all the people that were there. That's a perfect meeting. And that's why I like the whiteboard, because it keeps people engaged. Can't fall asleep during a whiteboard presentation. Well, you can, but you shouldn't. Like you can, maybe a video or something. So on dreams and goals, guys, I roll right into, I remember the first meeting I ever went to, that a guy drew a circle on a board. And I say that because I used to feel really uncomfortable writing the word dreams and goals. I felt weird doing that. So I made it somebody else. I made it a third party. If you ever feel uncomfortable about a part of the plan that's not you, use somebody else, because then it makes me feel good. It's like, this isn't my idea. The first meeting I was at, a guy drew a circle on the board and he put dreams and goals right above it. And he asked a question and he said, if money was no object, what would you guys do? And that's what I ask everybody in the crowd. I'm like, guys, what would you do if money was no object? What if you hit the lottery? Whatever state I'm in. What if you hit the New Mexico lottery or the Kansas lottery or wherever I'm at? What would you do if you woke up and money was no object? And I just have fun with it. I let people talk and we laugh and we go on vacations and we get a car, we live here, we do this, and I might ask what kind of car and what vacation and ask other people, and I'll write down my own things. You guys can check out the webcast and you see that. But I think that's a very important step, because when people come to a meeting, they've usually left work. They did not wake up that day thinking they were getting in a network marketing program. You almost have to shock them into the business, and that's what the presentation does. It shocks people into going, oh, that's what it is? It's kind of like when you're sitting in a room and you're focused on what you're doing, and somebody comes to the room and says, hey, Dave, and you don't answer. And they go, hey, Dave, Earth to Dave. You're like, what? That's how people are when they come to a meeting. And you kind of have to shock them into the business. And this step really does that, because it makes them go, am I going to have to participate? Do I have to say something? They don't, but it makes them kind of wake up a little bit. And I like that. And as people are saying the things that they would do if money was no object, everybody in that room has to sit there and think of something. You have to, because that's just how we are. We think in pictures. You're getting people to think about what they would do if this business worked for them, and you're not even 5 minutes into the presentation. That's powerful, because it opens them up to want to see the rest of the presentation. So what we've done is we've talked about dreams and goals. We've wrote a bunch of stuff down, and then I look at people and I say, we could sit here all night and we could fill this whole board up with stuff we'd want. But let me ask you this. What if you had to make extra money? And number 4 was other ways to make money. And what I like to ask people is, if you had to make an extra $500, if you needed some extra money, if a trip was coming up and it's a $5,000 trip, but you can go all expenses paid if you can just come up with $500. You don't have the money, how do you get it this week? And I let people talk. Give me some answers. And all of the answers are always, I'd work harder, I'd get more money, I'd get another job, I'd get a loan, I'd borrow it. It's always the same thing. So we've had some fun, we've built it up, we've talked about dreams and goals, and now I kind of wanted to depress them a little bit. That other ways to make money, there aren't very many. So for the average person out there, the only way you're going to make money is if you work harder, work more time, and try to find more things to do. The phrase working smarter instead of working harder, I never heard that until I got into network marketing, and I let people know that. It's like I'm solving the solution. We want these things, but we can't, because these are the only ways we know how to get it. So on number 5 that you have on your sheet is network marketing, and that's when I like to write network marketing, and I'll write MLM or network marketing, and I'll write the word leverage. And if you watch the webcast, you'll notice that I write 40 equals 40. Because I want to relate to everybody in the room. And I'll guarantee you everybody knows how they grew up, how they're making money, how they've made money their whole life. They've worked 40 hours and somebody paid them for 40 hours. That's how they did it. And what I want to do is I want to show them what network marketing can do. There's lots of network marketing companies out there. Most people don't know how they work. Most people do not know how to make money in network marketing. And they've been in a bunch. They have no idea how it works. That's why if you show the plan this way, you will come across as a genius, because they'll tell you, I've never seen it shown that way. I've never understood it that way. And that's why they'll want to get into business with you. So we want to solve this challenge of other ways to make money. Why is network marketing so good? It's the only thing out there that lets the average person leverage their time. And by leveraging your time, I mean this. What if there was a way you could work 2 to 5 hours and get paid like you worked 40 hours? Or what if you worked 2 to 5 hours and got paid like you worked 100 hours? Or what if you worked 2 to 5 hours a week and got paid like you worked 300 hours? You can't. And that's the hang up and the bottleneck in this industry, is people always think somebody else can make all the money because this is how we've been programmed our whole life. Nobody's ever taught us this side. And that's what network marketing does. That's what this business does. And that's really what what I do with step number 5, talking about network marketing. I want to talk about leveraging my time. I want to talk about residual income. Maybe talk about a band or an artist or an author who does the work one time. They write the book one time, but every time a book sells, they keep making money. What can an average guy get in that lets you do that? Can't. That's why it's so frustrating. So I want to show people, not that just we have great products, not that you can just make some money. I want to show people how you can literally leverage your time and start to earn a residual income. I want to show people how your business can take a life of its own and grow exponentially. And that's what the presentation should do. Because all of a sudden you are shocking them. They're sitting there being shocked, going, could this really work? Is this real? I've never seen it this way. And their mind's playing tricks with them. It's going crazy. And you're 6 to 7, 8 minutes into the presentation, and you've started solving all these problems. So now it's network marketing. You leverage your time. We can do this. How do we do this? On step number 6, it says longevity. And that's when I want to get into the company. And I might write longevity. Or I might just say, guys, I got involved in, and I tell my story. You guys tell your story. I tell my story is I got network marketing 17 years ago. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot of programs. And I've been in some. I became a top money earner in one. I own my own company. But I have never seen this. And my story, I actually write out and tell people, I got involved with a 12-year-old company that was doing $10 million a year in sales. That was in 1996. In 1 year, that company went from 10 million to 97 million. It grew 10 times. And I was in during that time because an individual got involved and did what this company just launched about a year ago. And that's when I start to talk about, the timing right now with longevity. It's a 17-year-old company. They have hundreds and hundreds of products. I always say it's one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest sleeping giant in the industry. For 17 years, they focused on products, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And that's what I tell them. I'll show you the products in a minute. But they've focused on that for 17 years. About a year ago, some people got involved that were experts at compensation plans and really kickstarting the program. And that's why Barb and I switched gears. That's why we are on this team. Because we believe it's the sleeping giant that we were a part of in 1996. We believe this $60 million company will be the next billion-dollar company. It is going to be that big. And why in the world wouldn't you want to be in now as opposed to later? Nobody's heard about it when it comes to the home-based business side and making money with this program. But so many people have heard about the products. So that's kind of how I talk about longevity. You guys need to write 2 or 3 sentences of why you think longevity is so cool. Well, is it publicly traded? Is it because they're 17 years old? Is it because of Dr. Wallach? Is it because, I don't know why you like longevity, but that's what you got to figure out. And then the 7th one is products. And for me, the products, I talk about the products in a way that I want everybody to know that everybody can use the products. And again, guys, I can't spend hours and hours going through all this on one video. I want you guys to watch the webcast. When you guys get to the meetings, pay attention at the meetings. If you're going to be a meeting giver, you guys pay attention at the meetings and you'll pick up a couple sentences. A lot of the things I use, I just heard from other people and they stuck with me. I loved them. They made me feel good, so I figured they'd make other people feel good. So when it comes to the product line, here's what I want people to know about the products. I want them to know 90 for life. I want them to know there is a problem. And I want them to know we have the solution. That's what I want to know about the products. Everybody's using the products. That's easy. There's a new miracle product every day in this industry. That's a fact. But nobody has a mission like this company that sticks. Nobody has a mission like this. You know, I had my own company, Livinity. We had a mission called Going Blue, and it was so congruent with 90 for Life. It was a mission. And what I like to start with the products, guys, I like to start with the problem. You know, I talk about, you know, Dr. Wallach. Dr. Wallach is, you know, I had a chance to meet Dr. Wallach. If you had a chance to meet him, you should tell people that. But I had a chance to meet him, and he told me a little of his story. He became a vet. He was young. They threw millions of dollars at him and said, you're going to go cure animals in another country, and he did. You know, I talk about him being in the Smithsonian Institute. I talk about the 900 diseases that he cured. But what I really talk about is the fact that they found a way to do all that in not only animals, but in people. And he got shunned by the medical community because they're not ready for it. And what they found out is 90 for Life. What they found out is there's 90 essential minerals and nutrients that we all need. And if we have them, we run like a top and we feel great. And if we don't, we don't. And sometimes I'll ask people or throw out there, and I like to interact with the crowd at times, and I might say something like, you guys finish this sentence for me. An apple a day, and everybody says, keeps the doctor away. And I say, well, what if that's true? I want people to get the idea that this is the most simplistic, easiest to explain anybody can do when it comes to the product line. I'm not a product expert. You're not a product expert. The new people you sponsor don't want to be a product expert. All they want to know is there's a problem. What's the solution? Why should I be on these products? And it's because most people get 10 to 15 of those minerals every day. You know, within a few months or years, you start to have bad headaches, or you have other challenges, or arthritis, or diabetes, or these other things set in. And what Dr. Wallach and the experts say is, all that stuff can be fixed with just mineral supplementation. They did it in animals, cured 900 diseases. He's in the Smithsonian for it. But because of how the medical industry is, and very political the way it is, that's not where we're at today. And that's when I start to talk about, have you ever watched TV late at night and seen the TV ads, drug ads? And man, I'll tell you what, you'll get into the crowd then. It'll be the most response you get at a meeting because they've seen the ads, and you say, well, give me some of the side effects. And man, people are giving you side effects, and they're like, yeah, you're going to die and you're going to bleed, and everybody's excited because they know what the problem is. If you can put the problem out there and they know what it is, they want the solution because they know everybody has the problem. Why not be one of the first ones with the solution? And that's when we talk about 90 for Life. You know, we talk about there's over 600 products. But what this company did is they found a really cool place to put the 90 essential nutrients. I mean, they're in liquids, they're in energy drinks, they're in coffee, they're in chocolate. There's some amazing products. You know, so whatever products you're excited about that you're using, you know, there's the Clemson report. A lot of times I'll open it up and read one little paragraph and say, guys, this is the kind of stuff we have. 17-year-old publicly held company, there's nothing else like it. 600 plus products with a track record of 40 years of Dr. Wallach, there's nothing like it. With the simplicity of 90 for Life, there is nothing like it. I mean, Wallach has fought the FDA 6 or 7 times and won because he's right. And you have a chance to be in this program before this industry hits $1 trillion in sales and before this company hits $1 billion in sales. It's coming. Because right now, prescription drugs, that's the only answer we have. People don't know what else to do. And we are the solution. So when it comes to step number 7, that's what I like to talk about. That's my product side. And you know, the PowerPoint presentation that the company has is wonderful when it comes to information on 90 for Life, the problem, the issues in the world, the challenges, where we are health-wise. You know, a lot of times I'll tell people, you know, when I graduated in 1988, you know, we were number 14 in overall health, and right now we're number 71. With the billions of dollars we've spent on research and all these organizations that are going to save the world, we've gone from 14 to 71. People are more obese. They have more diabetes. There's more problems. Watch TV late at night. There'll be a new thing they find out, and they'll have a drug for you for it. That's where we're at, guys. So the solution is 90 for Life, and that's the product side. Here's the deal. Everybody in the world, not only do they need it, they're already using most of these products. Even if you're not into health and nutrition, and I make sure and say this, even if you're not into health and nutrition, we have the most healthiest makeup line you can put on your skin. We have coffee, we have chocolate, we have household cleaners, we have personal care items. Guys, we have dozens of products that are in your house right now. And I say this statement several times during the meeting too. If all you had to do was switch where you shopped and got paid for it, would that be something you might be interested in? And you know what? You're shocking people. They're going, that if it's really that easy, yeah, I could do that. And guys, that's all you want during a presentation, is just to get people thinking that way. So after the products, the next one is showing the plan. And here's where I want to really spend the rest of the time. I want to spend 3 or 4 or 5 minutes on this part, because this to me is what locks people in. I don't have to sell them on the $4.99. They do it themselves. They know it's the best deal. They know it's the only way. Now I'll tell people, and you'll hear me on the webcast or when I show the plan, guys, you can get in this program for as little as 10 bucks. And you can try out the products and get them at a discount, and if you make a few $100, that's great. But what I want to show you guys is how and why people get rich in network marketing. It's what I learned 17 years ago. It's what's gave me my lifestyle and allowed me to do what I do. And once you understand this part, I think for the first time in your life you may really know what network marketing is and how it works, and how you can grow your business exponentially, not all by yourself. And that's when I start to talk to people about, this is you. And I always put a time limit on this $4.99 pack, and it's called the Mega Pack. And what I tell people is, this Mega Pack literally was just launched a few months ago. Because guys, I always want to stay in a person's head of them thinking it's new, it's fresh. Only a year ago did this plan come into play. People love the products. I mean, listen to Dr. Wallach's story. Dead doctors don't lie. People were raving over them. But what it took 10 years for people to build, people can do it with this program in 3 months. That's network marketing when it works. And by saying that, people are like, okay, and they want to know what you're talking about. And that's why I like the Mega Pack so much. That's why we switched gears and basically brought our entire program together and merged with this company, because of this. This is the magic we had in 1996. I've never seen that again, and we've never felt it. And obviously it's growing like crazy right now. And that's why we're wanting meeting givers like crazy to share the news. Your group will be the one growing exponentially. And I'll explain that in a second. But when it comes to showing the plan, here's all I show. It's $4.99 to join. It's a Mega Pack. And what's nice about the Mega Pack, and I'll say this, after the meeting tonight, watch everybody. Everybody after the meeting is going to start talking about what are the products and how they work. And here's the deal, in most network marketing companies, people don't get to know that. And in this program, when you join at the Mega Pack, you get $500 in products. And it's products that the company wants to brag to you. They want to show off. They want you to feel better the day you start to use them. Because if you do, you're going to tell everybody. So the Mega Pack allows you to get $500 in products. It's the best bang for the buck. But that's not the best part. The best part is this. When you sponsor people into business, and a lot of times, guys, I'll talk about my story. I'll tell my story of, when I got in the program, it cost me $1,000 to join. And I called my wife and she was mad at me. I mean, that's my story. If part of your story, tell it. But I always use my story and say, when I joined at $1,000, when I came in, the first thing I wanted to do was what? And people in the crowd will answer me. They'll say, you wanted to get your money back. Exactly. And sometimes I'll make a joke and say, thanks for coming. That's the whole meeting. Or we're done. Because if all I wanted to do is get my money back, and let's say you sponsored Bill, Sue, and Mary. Every time you sponsor someone, you make $100. So if you sponsored 5 people, you made all your money back. Whether that's in a week, a day, a month, or a year, who cares? But the concept is, if each person you sponsor, you make $100. But here's the real secret. Because these people came in at the Mega Pack, what do they want to do? And everybody in the crowd says they want to get their money back. So all of a sudden, Bill, Sue, and Mary have sponsored a few people. What do they want to do? Get their money back. Do you notice everybody's only sponsoring 2 or 3 or 4 people? Nobody's out sponsoring hundreds of people. It's a plan that every single person can do. So the second thing, and in my presentation I use this, is these are the 2 reasons my wife got excited. Barb was not excited. She'd been in other programs. They didn't work. And when she's seen this, she's like, that's why it'll work. And she was more excited than I was. Because in most programs, the people you do have in your group, they never order products. It's like pulling teeth. You're a product salesman. All you do, you have to talk about products, because if you don't, nobody will buy them. And in this program, everybody that's in the business, they purchase products every month, because that's how you get paid. It's the most genius plan there is. Everybody finds $150 to $200 a month that they can use, or they're already using. And you've just mastered the program. That's all it takes. And you share it with others. And as people are coming in, when they join on the Mega Pack, they want to sponsor a few who want to sponsor a few. And sometimes I'll draw it out and I'll say, what if you sponsored 4 who got 16 and it turned to 64, who turned to 256 to 1,000 to 4,000 to 16,000. I sometimes will show the progression of how quickly it can grow. I tell people, you know, what if you sponsored 3 who each sponsored 3? If you did that in 1 month, you would be an SEMD. And I let people know that should be your first goal. I know you don't know what it means, but after the meeting, in the next week or 2, you want to become an SEMD. Because as you build more people and more groups as an SEMD, for every single person in your organization, you're an extra $100. That's how people make big money. My wife and I have had 500, 600, 700 people in a month join. What's $100 times 500 people? It's 50 grand. Guys, that's how people make a ton of money in network marketing. They were a meeting giver. They went out and did this, and that was it. And you all have that same ability. And what's nice in this company, 3 who get 3, anybody can do it. You don't have to be some super galactic warrior to get to that level. You can do that really quickly. So by saying that way, guys, and talking like that, you're showing people, number one, the $4.99 is the best. And that everybody moves products every single month. And a lot of times, I'll use a scenario, and you know, if you don't have that scenario yet, you can use our scenario. I sponsored 3, who sponsored 5, who sponsored 3. I had 11 people in my downline. And I wanted to go help them. I went and helped people. And after 90 days, I had over 400 people in my group. I'd only sponsored 11, but I had 400 in my group. Guess what all these people were doing every month? Moving products. So whether I did anything or not, I'm getting paid every month. So guys, that is the basis of the presentation. The biggest part of the presentation you want to get across is that it's $4.99 and everybody uses products every month. And if you sponsor 3 or 4 people and help them do the same thing, you've mastered the whole program. A lot of times I'll tell people, if you just sponsored 3 and helped them do the same and everybody did that, we would all be rich. Number-wise, you have to get rich. There's no other way. So on number 9, the next thing is worst case. It's scenarios. And I always tell people, guys, because I'm wrapping up the meeting now. I've showed you the plan. I've talked about the products. I've showed you the problem. We got the solution. Worst case scenario. Because after the plan, people are thinking, money, this is good, this is good. And I say, here's a worst case scenario. And most people won't show you a worst case. You get in, you get your pack, you get the products, you try them, you don't like them, send it all back. Send it back your first 30 days, they give you all your money back. Done. That's a worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you join and you go crazy. You get with, you know, Joe in the room, or Robin in the room, or Kurt in the room, or Scott in the room. You get with somebody and you say, listen, let's get this thing going. And you put 25 people in the business your first week. And you go crazy. And they sponsor 3 or 4 who sponsor 3 or 4. And in 3 or 4 months, you got 500 people in your downline. And you're making 5, 10 grand a month. Best case scenario. That's good. Is that happening? Yes. Realistically, maybe your full-time job, you're busy, you're going 100 miles an hour, but you sponsor 3 or 4 people and you plug them in. You plug them into the system and they sponsor 3 or 4 who sponsor 3 or 4 and they sponsor 3 or 4, and 6 months later you got 50 people in your group. Make it so realistic people go, yeah, that's realistic. You're making $500 to $600 a month. It's residual money because everybody's moving their products every month. Guys, who in the world else in the next 6 months, even a year from now, who else is going to be sending you a check of $500 or more for doing absolutely nothing just because you sponsored a few people who got excited and started to build the business? And that's a realistic scenario. Number 10 is what's next. So on the number 10 part, I just saying, guys, I'm excited about the business, obviously, but the next step, you guys need to get in. And I talk a little about timing. I go back to, you know, my experience. In '96, I experienced this. It's getting ready to pop. You could go talk to 10 people right now, right here, and I'd be surprised if anybody's heard about it. They maybe have heard of Dr. Wallach, but they've never seen it like this. And that's why we're so excited about it. You literally are one of the very first people to share the business opportunity in a way that you literally can grow 20 times faster than just somebody talking about the product line. That's the power of this industry. It's the power of this business. But the next step is you need to get in. Pick a way to get in, get with the person that got you here, get in the program, and here's the deal. We're going to do all the work. I like to say that. And because I'm doing meetings all over the country. There's other people. We're developing meeting givers everywhere. There's conference calls. There's webcasts. What I did here tonight, and I tell them, guys, what I did here tonight, you can send your friends to a website and they can watch it. They can watch it, and then you can follow up with your upline sponsor as many people as you want. So that's, I always want to tell people, I'm going to do all the work, and there are a lot of ways to show people the program. Because a lot of people are sitting there and they're thinking, well, I've never done this, and how do I show them, and I'm not sure what to do. So I'm going to eliminate that immediately and say, I'm doing all the work. And as a meeting giver, that's what you should say, because you are. The only work to be done is showing the plan. There's no other work. And if you're going to show the plan, then you're doing all the work, because there isn't any other work. So they got to get in, and then the next step is I talk about the training. And what I use the scenario of a person, you know, this person joins, who sponsors this person, who sponsors this person, who sponsors this person, who sponsors this person. And it's like telling a secret around a little classroom of kids. You start in this corner, and when it ends up over here, it's a different story. And I tell people, that's how network marketing companies train. This guy down here is not building the business the same way as this guy. He doesn't know how, because word of mouth has got to him that he don't know what's going on. By the time it gets to this guy, it might be the only way you build the business is because you talk about a weight loss program. They don't even know there's a plan. So what I like to talk about at that point is PMG All Access. And I tell them that, you know, this whole system that I followed for 16 years and I paid for, it's yours free, basically. You know, go to pmgallaccess.com. There's something called the 8 steps. You can download them. You can listen to them. There's a workbook that goes with it. You can print it off. You can follow along with it. You know, there's training, just like this DVD, just like this audio, this recording. It's part of the training that people can get at PMG All Access. So I encourage people to go there. I tell them about the calendar, because there's tons of meetings, there's conference calls, everything that's going on in our organization, our leadership, it's on that website, and it's yours. Go check it out. And if you're like me, and maybe you're shy, or you're not sure who you'd talk to, or you don't know how you want to expose people to the business, we have a system called Ready to Cash In. And Dave Pitcock spent about 2 years and close to $100,000 mimicking the best system that there was. It was putting over 500 people a week in a program. And that program, it cost $1,000 to get in. They were putting over 500 people a week in one person's organization with this system. And what it was a funneling system. It allowed you to show lots and lots and lots of people a very real and emotional way that they could get involved in the business and what it was about. And that's what Ready to Cash In does. You can actually get your own website, and all you do is send people there. They watch an 11 or 12-minute video, and it emails you. It tells you after when they watched it. You can call them up and say, hey, I seen you just watched it. What'd you think? And they're emotional, because the video is emotional. And it's incredibly real, and it reeks, my gosh, I could do this. So the Ready to Cash In system is amazing. It's for every shy person in the world. It's their dream. Not everybody's shy, but if you want to show hundreds of people a day what you're doing, the Ready to Cash In system will do that. And then it's a funneling system. It funnels then to you all the people who are really interested. And you can sponsor people all day long. So I always mention the training, PMG All Access and Ready to Cash In, because, guys, that breaks people's guard. That gives them all the confidence. I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to know what to do. The guy up there just said he's going to do all the work, and he also said they had a system, they had a recipe, they had a blueprint. All I have to do is follow the steps. Guys, that's what people want to know. So it's really important to talk about those things, because it makes people go, I can do it, because they don't have to do anything. And then the very last thing I do, number 12, is I re-edify. I re-edify, and I thank the leaders, and I appreciate it. And guys, here's what we're doing. And a lot of times I'll say, when's the next meeting? You know, when are you guys? When's the next meeting here in here in Chicagoland? When's the next meeting out here in Vegas? And when's the next meeting here in Denver? Or I may say, guys, it's Sunday, I'm coming back Wednesday. And there's the days I'm coming back. From now to then, use your upline. Use Ready to Cash In. Expose this to a ton of people. Let them know the timing. It's ridiculous. And get them to the meeting. Let's get this thing cranking. I want people thinking when I'm done doing a meeting, they're already building their business. They're in the business. They've joined the business. They know there's a training system. There's another meeting. We're doing all the work. We're getting it going. It makes sense because of what they already seen. That's a given. Everybody's already doing network marketing. There's over 600 products. You're already using them. And everybody else needs them too. It's the business should say, why doesn't everybody just do this? That's the feeling. When you follow these steps and use that presentation, that's the feeling people have sitting in the crowd. When a new person joins this business and says, why wouldn't everybody do this? They're going to go sponsor the world because that's their intention. And that's what they're going to talk to people about. And the last thing, if there's any, like I said, any meetings going on or any events, if there's a major event, like if the convention's coming up, if there's an event your upline's doing, if there's a Super Saturday, we have a March, if there's a March Madness event, every year in March we do a March Madness kickoff event where we talk about how to build the business like crazy and exponentially grow your downline. And that's a March Madness event. So if there's stuff like that your upline's doing, mention it, especially local area meetings. If there's meetings in the area, tell them, here's what's going on here and here and here. Because what that does is it lets people know this is the real deal. They're going to help me. There's support here. There's stuff going on here. And after that, I tell people, guys, I'm going to stick around. I know some of you got to go, and that's cool. I don't want to take a lot of your time. But, I hope, if you're like me, I hope you get the feeling that you ain't going to sleep tonight, because I've been that way for 17 years. And I'll answer all your questions. And like I said, if it fits for you, great. And if it doesn't, that's 100% cool. It ain't for everybody. I always use release statements because I don't want a person sitting there thinking I'm trying to sell them on nothing. I'm not. I'm just the messenger. I'm telling you what it is. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. But we're going places. And that's the message I want to get across. And afterwards, I just say thanks again. Now, sometimes if I'm in the room and in a bigger crowd, and there's again, my upline's there, or there's leaders there to edify, I once again will say, hey guys, and after the meeting, make sure you go up and talk to Scott or Kurt or Jan or Robin or Mike or Bill. Get your picture with them and say hey to them. They're going crazy in the business. And I like to keep like I said, 40 minutes to an hour max. I'm done, because then people are comfortable. It flew by, and then the meeting after the meeting, that's when people join the business. I want to end this training with 2 important points. It's the two biggest goals when you do a presentation. 2 biggest goals. The number 1 goal when you do a home meeting, the number 1 goal when you do a hotel meeting, a third location meeting, the number 1 goal, guys, is to re-sponsor the people that are there that are in the business. The real goal isn't to sponsor new people. The real goal is to re-sponsor the people in the business. Because guests are there. Goal number 2 is to sponsor new people in the business. But if I can re-sponsor the distributors that are there, guess what happens during the meeting after the meeting? All the distributors just got re-sponsored. They feel like the day they joined, and they go to their guest, and they absolutely, on a scale of 1 to 10, they're at a 20. And their guests are like, I have to do this. This is amazing. You're so excited. Let's get this going. I was always taught excitement and an application are the only 2 tools you need to build this business, and that's very true. And so your goal, guys, when you're showing the program, it's not really speaking only to guests. It's speaking to distributors, reminding them. I'll tell you this, when you do a presentation, I've done this for a long time. Every single night when I'm done showing the program, I've re-sponsored myself. Not only did I re-sponsor myself, I re-sponsored the distributors in the room, and the guests, they have no choice. They have to join because we're all so excited. Guys, that's the power of a home meeting. That's the power of a meeting where you're actually there interacting, networking. It's network marketing. The Ready to Cash Insights is one of the most amazing ways to put just dozens and dozens and dozens of people into a funnel to find the ones that you can show the plan to. It just lets you build the business so quickly. But showing the plan is where the money is. And step number 7, helping the people you sponsor, that's why you want to be a meeting giver. Because like I said, if you sponsored 11 people and you don't do anything with those 11 people, you don't plug them into a system, they don't know about the 8 steps, they don't know about a meeting or a conference call or an upline, if they don't know any of that stuff, you're going to have 11 people in your group. But if you have 11 people in your group and You do step number 7, and you help the people you sponsor and say, hey, let's get 3 or 4 people and get this thing going. To all of them. And then those people, you say the same thing. Hey, let's get 3 or 4 people in. I'll do all the work. I'll come over and show the whole deal. If they want to do it, cool. If not, that's cool. We got a system. It's cranking. It's the most amazing thing. It's easy. Just have them come over. Be real. Be yourself. And all of a sudden, instead of 11 people, they've all sponsored a few who sponsored a few, and now you got 75 people in your group. And maybe the next month you sponsor 1 more. Now you've got 12, and all of a sudden you got 282 people in your group. That's how it grows when you're the meeting giver. You know, they say the speed of the group is the speed of the leader. You're the leader. And that's why I wanted to record this, guys. I don't want people to think they have to wait around and become some master at presenting. You don't. I'm not that good at presenting. Any of you that's seen me show the plan, I'm good at telling my story. But the way I actually show the circles, I'm probably the worst at it. When it comes to products, I am so far from a doctor and an expert that sometimes after the meeting, people are like, man, you really didn't talk about products. I'm like, I know. You know, I know the ones I use, and I never know what people really need. You know, what are you interested in? You know, what I think about the products isn't important. It's, you know, what do you need? You want to lose weight? You want more energy? You want to sleep better? Do you like the makeup? Do you like coffee? I don't know what you like. We have it, but I want you to ask me about it. And the way I do that during my meetings, I hit all 12 steps. I spend 3 to 4 minutes on each one, and I'm done. And I'll stick around afterwards, and let's answer all your questions, get this baby cranking. It's Tuesday. I'll be back Thursday. It's Thursday. I'll be back Wednesday. And they know there's another meeting, and there's conference calls and things to plug into from now to then, and they're talking to friends, and that's the presentation, guys. But if you want hundreds and hundreds of people in your group, then you need to step out and become that meeting giver. And you don't have to do it overnight. I mean, watch a few webcasts, get to a couple meetings, you know, practice a couple times. You know, tell a couple people in your downline, say, man, I'm getting really excited about becoming the meeting giver. I'm going to start doing some meetings. Why don't, you know, let's get 1 or 2 of you, bring a couple friends over. I'll start kind of small. Start a small group, and I'm going to do a whiteboard presentation. Or I'm going to do a whiteboard, but I got a few slides to throw in there too. I like some of the slides, and the slideshow is kind of my gig. I've got a slide for all 12 of the things Dave talked about. I'm going to do a slideshow, and that's how I'm going to show the plan. You know, whatever fits for you guys. But here's the deal. You need to make a commitment to show the program 3 to 5 nights a week. If you do that, you'll become financially free. You will have thousands of people in your group. You will be financially free, have time freedom. You will live a life like you've never lived before. That's all I did. I was 24 years old. I did not know what to do. They told me about a system. They told me about the 8 steps. That's all I did. I got really good at showing the plan and being a meeting giver, and I got really good at being concerned with those people that joined and wanting to make sure they got their money back. That's all I ever did, guys. That is my secret. That's all I've ever done in this business. So and again, I think where all my passion comes from is because it really is that simple. It's just, what's it going to take to get you to take that step to become a meeting giver? And I don't care if you're shy. I don't care if you've ever spoke to people or not. When you start to develop your story, when you listen to the mastery course and that part of your story, you're going to get it. And you're going to know you have something to share with people. There's nothing else out there like this that allows people to have time freedom and financial freedom. I don't care what it is. There's nothing else out there. And when this works like it should, it's the most amazing thing in the world. And we have that right now. We have a window of opportunity. You know, I said it on a video on a call I had to do a couple weeks ago. I said, you know, you may live to be 80 or 90 years old and have 1 or 2 opportunities in your life where you look back and say, that was unbelievable. Guys, one of mine was in 1996. When I got involved in network marketing, and my group exploded. And guys, I have the same feeling right now. That's where we are right now, and I don't want people to miss it. And if you'll become a meeting giver and attack this, you will blow by anything that my wife have ever done in this industry, because you have such a great plan, everything about it's just amazing. So with that said, guys, I hope you got a little bit out of this, and I hope you got the steps. If any of you have any questions and you're watching this, man, shoot me an email, david@levinity.com. Shoot me a quick email and say, hey, I watched the deal and I want to be a meeting giver, and you know, could you come to my area, maybe kick one off first, and then edify me and let people know that, you know, I'm doing the same thing you are, or let me know how I can help you. You let me know how I can help you become a meeting giver, because that's all I want to do. I want to develop more meeting givers in this organization than any other organization in the network marketing planet. Because if we have the most meeting givers, we have the most people. We have the most excitement, and we have the most growth. And that's all it really is. And you know what? When you learn to be a meeting giver, guys, your future's in your own hands. Cheers. You don't have to wait for me. You don't have to wait for your upline. You don't have to wait for nobody. It's like when Barb looked at me, you know, back in '96 and said, we don't need them. We can do that. And instead of having 1 or 2 meetings a week, we had 15 meetings a week. We didn't wait for anybody. We showed tons of people the plan. They all signed up, and it grew like crazy. But people just need a little confidence and a little direction. That's the direction you need. This flow works really good, but make it personal for you. So with that said, guys, I hope to see you at a bunch of the upcoming meetings. There's meetings being popped up all over the place. I know at this point March Madness is coming up, convention's coming up. We personally have an event after a convention called Family Reunion that is going to be incredible. Lots of stuff happening. But what it boils down to is showing the plan. Getting to work, doing the action step, showing the plan, and helping the people you sponsor, guys. Keep it simple. Sponsor 3, help them get 3. Everybody does that. We're all rich. That's the name of the game. So with that said, we'll talk to you guys later.